continuing our short series dedicated to the animals of the Ice Age. Today, we will introduce you to the most dangerous predators of that time. We will tell you how and why they became the dominant animals of their regions, how they differed from their ancestors, and which of the planet's current inhabitants are their descendants. You will also learn when mammoths and saber-toothed tigers will once again roam the Siberian plains. Dire wolf. This variety of carnivorous animals from the Ice Age is found exclusively in North America. It is believed that this continent is the birthplace of the canine family. They appeared about 40 million years ago. The genus Canis, which includes both wolves and dogs, formed approximately 6 million years ago. Around the same time, the evolutionary branch of the dire wolf split off. Part of its ancestors crossed through what would become the Bering Strait into Asia and spread all the way to Africa. It is from them that modern striped jackals evolved over many thousands of years of evolution. The ancestors of the dire wolf that remained on the American continent were forced to compete with other canids. As a result, they occupied the niche of hunters of large ungulates. To do this, they themselves had to become the largest canids in the history of the planet. Today, only a few dog breeds bred by humans surpass them in size. The average weight of a male dire wolf reached 150 pounds, and their maximum weight, according to some estimates, could reach 243 pounds. In length, they grew to more than 5 feet 7 inches. These monsters were distributed almost to the very borders of the glacier. The main prey of dire wolves were horses, bison, camels, and pronghorns. They could also feed on carrion. Packs of these predators posed serious competition to Smilodons and American lions. Dire wolves went extinct about 13,000 years ago due to climate changes in the region following the reduction of their food base. The less picky eaters and smaller gray wolves displaced them throughout their entire range. Cave hyena. The cave hyena is one of the subspecies of the spotted hyena. The distinctive feature of this subspecies was its larger size. They could weigh up to 220 pounds, which on average is twice the weight of other varieties. At such a weight, these predators grew to 3 feet 3 inches at the shoulder. Cave hyenas inhabited all of Eurasia, from the Pyrenees to the Far East. Like other hyena species, the cave variety were active hunters. The basis of their diet was horses, less often bison, and woolly rhinoceroses. Finds in some caves indicate that these caves were occupied alternately by hyenas and then by Neanderthals. In one cave, even an image of a cave hyena was discovered. But judging by the number of human remains found with bite marks from these predators, most often the 4-legged predators won the competition, not the 2-legged ones. Homotherium. This variety of saber-toothed cats during the Ice Age was one of the most widespread on the planet. Remains of Homotherium are found throughout the tundra steppe zone from Europe to Alaska. Although the southernmost Homotherium have been discovered in Venezuela, south of the modern border between the United States and Canada, they probably could not compete with the larger Smilodons. But in the polar zone, no other saber-toothed cats lived. In terms of size, Homotherium is comparable to the modern African lion. These cats weighed up to 419 pounds and grew more than 3 feet 3 inches at the shoulder. Their front legs were longer than the hind legs, and the tail was short, like that of a lynx or a bear. The structure of the limbs and the presence of non-retractable claws indicate that Homotheriums were most likely excellent runners. They lived in small prides and specialized mainly in large prey. In Friesenhahn Cave in Texas, USA, skeletons of more than 30 Homotheriums and the remains of almost 400 young mammoths that became the pride's prey during their residence there were found. Cave lion. Another representative of the cat family, widely distributed in the northern hemisphere during the last glaciation. Previously, it was believed that the cave lion was one of the subspecies of the African lion. But genetic studies have shown that this is not entirely the case. The first lions appeared in Africa about 1.5 million years ago. The Mosbach lion, which descended from them, lived in Europe and southern Siberia, starting from 700,000 years ago. Climate cooling led to the appearance of cave lions capable of living in harsher conditions. Through Beringia, it reached North America, where the American lion later evolved from it. The cave lion was smaller than the Mosbach or American lion, but in dimensions surpassed modern African lions. Its body without the tail reached a length of up to 8 feet 2 inches, and it could weigh more than 661 pounds. A distinctive feature of this species was the complete absence of a mane. Its main prey were reindeer, less often horses and musk oxen. Sometimes cave lions also attacked bears. This rather narrow hunting specialization could well have influenced their extinction. In addition to the bones of this animal, scientists studying it have detailed primitive drawings on the walls of caves. You can also learn what this beast looked like from the bodies of 4 lion cubs found in permafrost, which are very well preserved. We talked about them and other animals discovered in permafrost in detail in one of the previous episodes. Cave bear. This giant, along with the mammoth and the saber-toothed tiger, is one of the symbols of Ice Age fauna. Cave bears are distant relatives of modern brown bears. Their evolutionary branches diverged about 1 million years ago. The distinctive feature of the cave bear is its enormous size. Today, bears from Kodiak Island have comparable parameters. Therefore, it can be assumed that, standing on its hind legs, it reached 9 feet 10 inches and could weigh up to 1,102 pounds. The study of the teeth of the cave bear showed that these animals preferred plant food, roots, berries, and juicy, herbaceous plants. Of course, if the opportunity arose, it could take down a deer or a bison. A cruel joke was played on these animals by their habit of arranging dens deep inside caves. Traces of their claws were discovered at a great distance from the cave entrances. It is even difficult to reach those places. But most likely, cave lions and later humans attacked the bears during hibernation inside the caves. This could well have become one of the reasons for their disappearance from the face of the planet. Arctodus, giant short-faced bear. This animal is considered the largest predator of the mammoth fauna. The subfamily of short-faced bears separated from the main evolutionary line back in the Miocene. The ancestors of Arctodus lived in North America. When the Isthmus of Panama formed 2.5 million years ago, part of the population moved to South America. From them descended the modern spectacled bears, the most herbivorous bears on the planet. But the northern representatives of the subfamily about 800,000 years ago turned into real monsters. The shoulder height of the giant short-faced bear is 4 feet 11 inches to 6 feet 7 inches. Judging by the claw marks in River Bluff Cave, Missouri, USA, located at a height of more than 14 feet 9 inches, the height of Arctodus on its hind legs was no less than 12 feet 2 inches. Such giants weighed more than 2,094 pounds, and possibly among them there were specimens weighing up to 3,086 pounds. Arctoduses also stood out for their endurance and could run at speeds of up to 25 miles per hour. It is believed that Arctodus was not a super predator of its region like, for example, the modern polar bear. Yes, it could hunt bison, mastodons, and young mammoths, but at the same time, like most bears, it was omnivorous. The farther north the giant short-faced bears lived, the more meat was in their diet. Smilodon. It is these large cats of the Ice Age that are commonly called saber-toothed tigers, although from a scientific point of view, this name is incorrect. Representatives of the genus Smilodon lived on the territory of North and South America from 2.5 million to 10,000 years ago. Their most likely ancestor was Megalania. The evolutionary branches of these genera diverged about 22 million years ago. In terms of size, Smilodons were comparable to modern lions or tigers, but differed in a denser and stronger build, wide paws, and a short tail. Depending on the species, these large cats weighed from 353 to 882 pounds. The length of the upper canines of the largest Smilodon species, including the roots, was 11 inches, and their jaws could open at an angle of up to 120 degrees. Most likely, Smilodons were ambush predators. They lived in forests and specialized in large herbivores. The basis of their diet consisted of young mammoths, mastodons, steppe bison, and horses. They lived and hunted alone or in small, mixed groups. The reason for their extinction was most likely the extermination of their food base by humans who appeared in the region. Megalania. During the Ice Age, life was bustling not only in the northern hemisphere of the planet. South of the equator, there were also their giants and their super predators. Megalania successfully combined both of these qualities. In the Pleistocene, this giant lizard was the largest carnivorous creature on the entire Australian continent. During its study, different assumptions about its size were made. Body length varied from 11.5 to 29.5 feet, and mass from 728 to 4,850 pounds. Considering the similar ecological niche, Megalania is most often compared to the modern Komodo dragon. it differed in a more massive and more flexible skull, as well as larger teeth. In addition, Megalania had a crest on its head. These creatures appeared more than 1.5 million years ago and went extinct about 40,000 years ago. So, theoretically, the first Australian Aborigines could well have seen this monster alive. It is believed that Megalanius hunted in grassy savannas and small forests. Like Komodo dragons, they preferred to attack from ambush, immobilizing the victim with bites and tail strikes. Possibly, Megalanius did not disdain carrion or could steal prey from other predators. At that time, competitors of these giant reptiles for the title of the region's main predator were other large monitor lizards, marsupial lions, and some species of crocodiles. Probably, young Megalania individuals were light and agile enough to hunt even kangaroos. The prey of adult monitors became larger and slower representatives of the megafauna. Haast's eagle. This bird lived exclusively in New Zealand and was the largest flying bird in its region. Haast's eagle was almost 1.5 times larger than the largest modern bird, the South American harpy. Its wingspan exceeded 8 feet 2 inches, and it weighed from 22 to 31 pounds. Haast's eagle hunted mainly all varieties of moa birds. There were no terrestrial predators on this large island, except for a small species of geckos. Therefore, this species of eagle can quite rightly be called the local superpredator. In Maori legends, this giant bird often appears as a man-eater. Given its size, it can be assumed that, at a minimum, it could handle a child. It is believed that it dived at its prey from above, plunging its claws into the head and neck. For its size, that bird had rather short wings and was unlikely capable of prolonged soaring flight. But in forested terrain, it did not really need that. Haast's eagle went extinct solely due to humans. Not only did local tribes hunt this bird, but they also very quickly exterminated its entire food base. Many representatives of the Ice Age fauna still inhabit different corners of our planet today. Deer, musk, oxen, yaks, horses, and even two-humped camels, as well as wolves, foxes, lynxes, and other smaller predators have changed their address but still feel perfectly at home in the modern world. Many rodents, birds, fish, insects, and plants from that era have also been preserved on Earth. That is why scientists have long been enthusiastic about the idea of restoring the unique landscape. In 1997, ecologist Sergei Zimov created the Pleistocene Park in Yakutia as an experiment. So far, European bison, American bison, musk oxen, Yakutian horses, moose, and reindeer live there, as well as other species preserved from the Ice Age. Gradually, the typical ecosystem of the mammoth steppes is becoming a reality in this territory. At the same time, Japanese and Korean scientists are actively trying to revive mammoths using genetic engineering. It is still too early to say that soon these shaggy elephants will again roam Siberia. But the revival of the cave bear, steppe bison, or wild horse no longer seems like fantasy. As always, at the end of the video, we thank those who watched it to the very end. If you want to learn how other animals that inhabited our planet at different times looked and from whom they descended, we recommend you check out the previous episodes of the Age of Dinosaurs channel. You will also learn about the origin of humans, the features of the development of human society, and modern environmental problems from them.